Welcome back. Told from a perspective of a young girl named Khensani. Scattered is Christinah Chauke's debut book that is based on Winterveld, located in the northwest side of Pretoria. In the book, Khensani shares with us the journey of how growing up in this area was filled with all the wickedness that one could think of. I'm talking about poverty, illiteracy, domestic violence, alcoholism, drug and addiction. Through her protagonist, Christinah describes the outcome and effects these has on the community, particularly in women and young girls. And she now joins us to talk more about this. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. Let's start with what the story is about and why you felt the need to tell the story.
Okay. As the name says, scattered. So the book is really about being scattered in the community of Winterveld. It's actually from my interaction, from my corner with the community of Winterveld, and also being scattered from many places because I had to kind of untangle myself from a lot of antagonists, which you have just mentioned now. So you are there in this environment that kind of closes you in. You know nothing else besides alcoholism, domestic abuse. You know nothing besides crime. You know, so much that crime was like an attractive alternative, you know. So the book is about that. It's about that interaction. It's not really about Khensani alone, but it's also about the observations of other people in the same community.
And let's speak about Khensani because she is the narrator of the book.
Yes.
Give us insight into who Khensani is. Who is she? What are some of the things that she observes? What does she think about? Who is this protagonist?
Okay, so basically, Khensani kind of wakes up in an environment whereby, wow, there's a lot of robbery. Wow, there's a lot of antagonists that says you cannot amount to anything, you cannot be anything, you cannot go anywhere, you cannot even get to matric. But Khensani find a way to maneuver around through those challenges or the odds which were against her. And coming out was like, it's like you are in a battle, but you have to come out. You just know that you cannot die here. You have to come out. So Khensani is actually looking at the environment, which is actually supposed to kill her, and saying, no, I'm not dying here. I'm coming out. But through the narration, Khensani talks also about other people that she interacted with, her kind of very close relationship with one of the most feared thugs in Winterveld. I think again that's where she was like, okay, so basically, yes, there are thugs, but thugs have a soul as well. Yes, so it's those kind of interactions.
And are you Khensani, or do you identify a lot? Is her story similar to some of the things that you may have perhaps experienced growing up?
I am Khensani. I am Khensani, yes.
Wow, that it's beautiful that you can be so open about your story and create hope for many young girls and boys who grow up in these communities that literally seem hopeless. But here you are, you've made it out.
Yes.
I want to talk about poverty as one of the most prominent themes in this book. Bring us into why this theme in particular is so central to the story.
Okay, so I want to talk about the Winterveld that I knew, that I grew up in. I don't want to say Winterveld is like this now. Because for me, the poverty that I experienced in Winterveld was the kind of poverty that has a smell, an odor, like, you know, it's gloom, it's dark. Everything around you is just gloom and dark. And as a child, you have to go to school without even, breakfast was luxurious, it was just something else, but you don't even have lunch. You come back home again, there is no lunch. But you have to live through those odds, and then somehow you manage to get to matric. from matric, you are like, okay, then what happens? Then what? You know? And then miraculously, you find yourself again in university. And yes, so meaning you had to live through that poverty. But as I said earlier on, it became a personal decision to say, how do I then untangle myself from all these antagonists? Because in the synopsis I say one of the antagonists was poverty. So poverty was central, because I also opened the book by saying, by talking about the psyche of the community, that
Yes.
It was like, yes, we are living in this poverty, but somehow there is competition of, I have this material thing, I have this and that. So our poverty is pulling us together. It's collective poverty. It's also, everything is collective. This is what we know. This is us. We are confined here, you know, in the midst of it all.
Sure. Wow, what a book. I want to say all the best. I hope as many people out there will go out and support you. Well done on getting out there. And, you know, there are many things that could have held you back, but you've risen above all of them so beautifully. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And that's Christinah Chauke, who's been speaking to us about her debut book, Scattered, that tells the story of young Khensani who grows up in a crime and poverty-ridden Winterveld. Well, if you also belong to a book club or you are a lone reader, you can also join us for our Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you are currently reading or have read. Just send us a detailed description of your book club on email. You can also drop us a picture of these books with a brief caption using our social media platforms. At Morning Love SABC is where you can find us on Twitter. We are on Facebook, Morning Love SABC, and our email address is morninglove@sabc.co.za. Simpiwe, it is back to you.